Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And over the next few months, in honor of SNL's 50th anniversary, I'm going to be going over some trivia reviews for the movies that are based off of SNL skits. So for today, I'm doing the 1992 film Wayne's World. Party time! Excellent! Woo! 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 Here is your trivia question for today. What is the name of Cassandra's band? The answer will be at the end of this episode. So, in the film Wayne's World, we meet our two main characters of Wayne Campbell and Garth Algar, who are best friends and also have their own cable access television show. Now, one day, a man named Benjamin watches the boys' show and realizes he could make a lot of money off of this. So, he meets up with them and offers to become their manager to bring Wayne's World to prime time. Things start to go really well for the boys. In fact, Wayne even ends up meeting a beautiful woman named Cassandra, who he falls head over heels for, and they start to date. Now, Benjamin also seems to gain an interest in Cassandra, but he makes it out to seem as if it's all professional, as he offers her the ability of being her manager and bringing her into the spotlight. So things start to get a bit rocky in Wayne and Cassandra's relationship, and the show starts to become a bit too commercialized and being taken away from the boys. So, will Wayne and Garth ever get their old lives back? This movie was directed by Penelope Spheris, who unfortunately did not have a great time on set, as Mike Myers kept arguing almost the entire way through about having things done his way. Now, of course, this movie is based off of the Saturday Night Live skit that is of the same name. The character of Wayne was originally created by Mike Myers, but way back when he was a part of the Second City. When Myers originally brought the concept to Saturday Night Live, his plan was to have Wayne be a singular character, but they said the only way it would go forward is if he had a co star. This was, in fact, Mike Myers' feature film debut. Myers does state that filming, though, was a blur, as his father's health was dwindling during the filming. Unfortunately, his father passed away soon after filming was finished. Dana Carvey states that he modeled his character of Garth Algar after his brother Brad. During production, Myers apparently kept cutting out Garth's scenes. Carvey even quit and would only come back if he was given complete creative control of Garth and could ad-lib lines. The character of Cassandra in the film is played by Tia Carrere, but did you happen to know that she performed all of her own vocals throughout the film? Carrere also turned down an opportunity to join the cast of Baywatch just to do this film. Rob Lowe, who plays Benjamin in the film, states that this movie proved to himself that he could do comedy. This movie was also Chris Farley's feature film debut as that security guard who apparently knew just a little too much information. Here are some other actors throughout the film that you may or may not have recognized. Playing Tiny the Bouncer, we have the singer Meatloaf. Robert Patrick has a brief cameo in this film, which is absolutely a reference to the character of the T-1000 that he played in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Ed O'Neill has a cameo as Glenn, the owner of the donut shop, which you probably know him best either from being in Married with Children or Modern Family. Alice Cooper has a cameo as himself in this film, but when they originally brought him in, he thought it was just to do a performance for the movie. He didn't realize he was going to actually have lines. But he was happy with it as his character is played off as being a history buff, and Cooper in real life is actually one. Kurt Fuller plays the character of Russell, and even though you may not recognize his name, you probably recognize his face as he has appeared in quite a few films. Laura Flynn Boyle has a role as Stacy, Wayne's crazy ex-girlfriend. Something I found interesting is apparently her giving him a gun rack was not just a weird situation in the film, but something that actually happened with Myers and an ex-girlfriend of his, who apparently was quite upset about seeing that make it into the movie. The two characters known as the Vanderhoffs are played by Brian Doyle Murray and Colleen Camp. Murray has appeared in multiple film roles, but is also well known for being one of the Murray brothers. The most famous one is probably Bill Murray. Colleen Camp has appeared in multiple movies, but is probably most well known for being Yvette from the film Clue. One of the best things about this film is probably its soundtrack. Me personally, I would consider this one of the top 5 best movie soundtracks in history. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen almost didn't make it into this film. The song was considered too expensive, and producer Lorne Michaels wanted to use something a bit more relevant, like Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Mike Myers apparently threatened to quit if they weren't able to use the song Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, obviously, this is one of the most famous scenes in the film, but I'm sure there's at least a part of Myers that regrets getting that song put in, only due to the fact that they apparently had to do it so many times that the headbanging caused damage to their necks to the point where there are scenes that you'll notice both Myers and Carvey are barely moving their heads when looking at people. Speaking of music, apparently in the 70s and 80s, it was very common for people in a guitar store to try to impress other people by playing Stairway to Heaven. That's why when Wayne is about to do so, they make the joke of no one being allowed to do it. Another interesting fact related to the music store scene, Dana Carvey did all of his own drum playing in that scene. Another one of my favorite things about this film is the blatant use of the product placements, which is just so funny. Here's something interesting. Dana Carvey states that there's a lot more to the story about Garth building this robot. He did so to actually take out Benjamin. This is why the robot reaches for him and why Garth has to destroy it so that Benjamin doesn't realize what he's doing. Mike Myers, of course, is not actually speaking Cantonese in the film, he's just ad-libbing throughout this scene. Tia Carrere, by the way, did not know Cantonese at all. Stan Mikita's Donuts is a fake shop that was just based off of a Chicago Blackhawks player, but primarily this was a play on the Tim Hortons restaurants that were famous in Canada. Now, as someone who's from Aurora, Illinois, I find it interesting that even though the movie takes place there, almost nothing was filmed there. Most of it that was done in Illinois was either in Berwyn or the city of Chicago itself. The reason why Aurora was even used for this film is Myers just liked the way that the name sounded. This movie was filmed in Illinois, California, and Arizona. So when it comes to the film Wayne's World, I think this one to this day is still very funny and entertaining. It's got so many great parody moments, and of course, the funny product placement situations. And one thing I did not realize until I rewatched this is that apparently I still quote this movie to this day and just didn't realize it. So I'm going to give Wayne's World a 4 out of 5. If you enjoyed this film, other movies I recommend checking out are Airheads, Mallrats, The Blues Brothers, and Empire Records. Now it's time to answer the trivia question from the beginning of this episode. What is the name of Cassandra's band? Now, before I reveal that, here's something funny for you to know. From the first day I saw this movie up until just rewatching it recently, I apparently always got the name of this band wrong. So, first things first, I'm going to reveal what the actual name is. So, the actual name of Cassandra's band is Crucial Taunt. But for years, I thought it was Crucial Todd. I don't know why, it just sounded like everyone was saying that. But I was very wrong. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. And please keep an eye out as over the next few months, I'm going to be going through all of the other remaining SNL spin off movies.